Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Eric and I like to read, and today I'm going to be doing the mid-year freakout tag. Now, I haven't done a book tag in a really long time, but I'm excited to do this one every year because it helps you reflect on your first half of the reading year and what you're going to be planning to read for the rest of the year. So yeah, I think this one's a fun one, and it's fun to do each year because it helps with that reflection. Anyways, let's just jump right into it. So the first question is, what is the best book you've read so far this year? The best book that I have read is Project Hail Mary. This book was awesome. I really enjoyed Andy Weir's writing. His writing style is very similar to The Martian in the humor sense because he writes scientific books in a way that it's funny. And it's not too intense of science verbiage, so you're not really confused all the time. He makes it very easy to digest and it flows with the storyline, and there's always just so much sarcasm from his characters. I just love the way he writes, and I will continue to read more of Andy Weir's books. This one was definitely action packed, and it was a different kind of direction than I was expecting it to go into, but I still really enjoyed it a lot. It made it to my favorite book of the year so far. I've even recommended this to many friends, and I know a couple of them that have picked up the book and started reading it. So that makes me really happy because I'm like, oh, you're actually taking my recommendations at face value and trying them out. So that's very cool. But yeah, this one was definitely the best so far, and I'm hoping I get more books like this throughout the rest of the year. The next one is the best sequel you have read so far, and that would be All of Our Demise. I haven't read too many sequels this year. I think Steel Striker might be the only other sequel I've read, and that was actually the first Mary Lou book that I gave a 4 out of 5 stars. So yeah, I also gave this one a 4 out of 5 stars, but I did really enjoy how it was completely wrapped up, and I just really enjoyed jumping back into this magical world. I mean, it's more like a human world with magic in it, but I enjoy jumping back into it and seeing the characters that we left off with in the first one and what they're getting up to and how they're surviving. Because if you don't know, the first book is All of Us Villains, and that is about a bunch of different kids from different families that are put into these magical death games, because whoever wins the games gets control of the high magic until the next games. So yeah, this one was definitely a really good wrap up of that, and we had some good things that happened, some bad things that happened, and yeah, there was also a little side plot going on in this one that I was trying to puzzle through. It wasn't exactly the best result of that side plot. I didn't think so, but I don't know. It was something that was added in, which was fun to try and solve while the main plot's happening. But yeah, this would probably be the best sequel I've read so far this year. Then we have new release that you haven't read yet but want to. And so this technically isn't released yet, but I have an arc of it, and that is System Collapse. This is actually coming out in November of 2023, but I really want to read this arc. So I'm trying to power through the rest of the Murderbot Diary books because I'm only on, I believe, number 4. And so I'm going to try and read number 4 in July and continue that series because I want to catch up to this book so that I can read it. It's just, I got so excited when Tord sent me this, and it's Murderbot. Murderbot's fantastic. It's the most relatable robot you'll ever read about. So yeah, I really want to get to this one. Then we have most anticipated release for the rest of the year, and so obviously that one is Lightbringer, which is coming out in the end of July. I believe it's July 25th. I'm not 100% on that exact date, but I know it's at the end of July, and I am so excited. I am going to read this book probably in August because August is my birthday month, so maybe I'll treat myself by getting the book and reading it. Yeah, that's the best birthday present I could think of for myself. So yes, definitely Lightbringer. Then my biggest disappointment for this year would probably be Etherbound or however you say this. I had this one on NetGalley, and the premise sounded really cool. I thought it was going to be a really fun sci-fi book, but there wasn't much substance to it, and it focused a lot on these 3 characters that you really couldn't grow any attachment to them. I didn't find that I was attached to anybody, and so when any consequences or things were coming up that were happening, I didn't care. And so I don't know, it really had like a lackluster plot. I feel like there was a good idea for the plot, and if they could have built on that a bit more, then it could have been better. But no, it just kind of fell through the cracks for me. The next one is biggest surprise, and so I would say it was We Are Not Here, which is an arc that was sent to me by HarperCollins. This one, I didn't really know how to feel about it going into it, but it is like detailing the journey of three different characters who are trying to get across the borders to the United States. And it goes into detail about a lot of families and just different people that try and cross the borders and end up perishing on the way there. And this book got like so emotional and like made me feel so many things that I was not expecting to feel going into this. It was a very powerful read, and it was definitely informative about the real struggles that people go through trying to cross these borders. And so, yeah, this one definitely had a big impact. Then we have favorite new author, and I would say that I haven't read too many new authors, but the one that sticks out in my mind, and this book I read on a whim because I saw that it was on Kindle for free, was Annabeth Albert. And I read her book Save the Date, which is a gay romance book about two guys who end up being in a wedding party but on opposite sides and start falling for each other. It was actually such a cute book, and I flew through it. It was only like 160 pages or something like that, so it was a really quick read. If it is still free on Kindle, you should go check it out. I'll see if I can link it in the description down below. But yeah, it was great, and I would definitely read more by Annabeth Albert because I actually have some of her books on my shelf, and I looked through her catalog, and all of them are like gay romance books. So that just makes me so excited, and definitely something I would love to get into. The next question is newest fictional crush, and I don't really get crushes on fictional characters, but if I had to, I would choose Randall from Save the Date because he's like this dorky, nerdy guy that you just like, you can't help but fall for. He's just so cute, and yeah, he's a very wholesome character, and he's just one that you're like, you feel like you're drawn to. And so yeah, I guess he would be my fictional crush. Then the next one is newest favorite character, and I think I would choose Gray from Dark and Shallow Lies because they had to work really hard to kind of like figure out what happened to their best friend. So the story is about their best friend who goes missing, and so she goes back to her hometown because during the school year she's at another like school where her dad lives, and then she goes and lives with her grandma in this small like bayou village in Louisiana, and she goes and stays there every summer with her grandma to help her work her like sidekick shop slash bookshop, and that's where her best friend also lives all the time. But her best friend went missing, and so this summer when she comes back, she is trying to figure out what happened to her, and yeah, it goes from there. But Gray, I thought she was a really powerful character, and she worked really hard to like figure out what was going on. And I thought she was just very interesting in general. She had like a cool backstory with some things that happened with her mom and her grandma. And so like it was just really cool like learning about her. And so I liked her as a new character. Then we have book that made you cry. And I don't really cry in books, but I will say the one that came closest to making me cry was We Are Not From Here. Like I said before, this book is very emotional, and it definitely has like an impact that you will feel once you read this book. Then we have book that made you happy, and so that would be A Story of Woe. This was a children's book sent to me to read, and I thought it was so cute. I did like a blog post of a bunch of kids' books that I read, but this one was all about a relationship between a son and a father who their like routine thing would be they watch the news together in the evenings. And so the son noticed that there was a lot of injustice and things happening like that in the news. And so he wanted to learn to fight back against those injustices. So he decides to learn like karate, jujitsu, and all that stuff and go out into the world and try and solve those problems. And it's him and his father like going out in the world and him kind of like realizing that you can't fight those things with actual physical fighting. You need to fight them more with like love and compassion and things like that. It was really cute. And so, yeah, this one definitely made me happy. Then we have most beautiful book acquired. And I don't know like who will think this is beautiful or not, but I think it's like stunning. And that is Demon's Reign. The artwork of this book is just so good. Like, that's fantastic. I love the art on this book. And it's so pretty on the spine. Like, I can just imagine all the other ones are going to look really cool if this is the spine of the first one. Yeah, this book is stunning. I am supposed to have an author interview with these guys. Still not planned yet. We had to postpone it, but hopefully we'll get it planned soon so you guys can see us have a chat about this book. The second last question is books that I need to read by the end of the year, and those would be all my blog books. That's just my answer for this one because I have way too many and I still need to get to them, and I'm trying my best to do as much as I can. So yeah, I'm just going to keep chipping away at that pile of books that have been sent to me. And then the last question is my favorite book to movie adaptation. And I can't really think of any this year, but I can think of one that's coming out and one that exists. So The Hunger Games, that whole series is still my favorite adaptation. I think they did that series so well, and it was just such a good adaptation. And so I'm looking forward to the one coming out. I think it's at Thanksgiving this year, for A Ballad of Songbird and Snakes, because I read the book and I thought the book was so good. And so now I'm really excited to see the movie. Even the trailer, like I can see in the trailer, they're getting things so accurate, and I'm just looking forward to it. I think it's going to be amazing. So I'm really looking forward to that one. And that's it for my mid-year freakout tag. Let me know if you guys have done this tag, and if you have any answers to the questions that you want to answer in the comments down below, then definitely put them down there. Anyways, if you guys want to support me, I have a Patreon and a Coffee page, which I'll put in the description down below, as well as a link to buy my bookmarks. You guys know the drill. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Hit that bell notification button so you're notified when I post new videos. I post my videos on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And until next time, keep on reading.